Yeah.
Wrap it up. Let's try and wrap it up. Okay. Ingo this morning did a nice thing with a show of hands. Let's do a little bit of a show of hands. I quite like that. I'll steal with pride from anyone. Who feels that they've learned something today? That's pretty good. I'll stick my hand for that. Who feels better equipped than they did this morning to go on this journey? Definitely. Cool. And who feels it was a valuable way to spend the day? Yeah. All right. I mean, it's pretty hard not to put your hand up on these questions, right? But I think hats off to Hannah and the team for assembling what was quite an exceptional day. So thank you. Naturally, I took the agenda and I put it into one of our assistants. And it said, Symposium has brought together academics, business leaders and innovators to discuss the impact of AI in the fashion industry. Morning session kicked off with a session from the Dean, followed by talks exploring AI, how it can drive sustainability, transform design and innovation, etc. Key themes included AI for demand forecasting, digital product development, waste reduction, and so on. It then said the afternoon centered on AI's role in elevating consumer experiences, AI for CRM, skincare, retail, and takeaways included AI's ability to revolutionize fashion by enabling new business models, supply chain transparency. Overall, the symposium sparked thought-provoking discussions on AI's transformative potential for the fashion industry's future. I don't think that's too bad as a wrap-up for what the day included, considering it read the thing from the start, which is interesting. What I would do is just close out with some thoughts that we've been having as an organisation about duty of care a little bit, and just give you sort of some thoughts to finish up with. Hopefully, if this works. If it doesn't, this could be... there we go. Let's see if that works. All right. You can probably tell from my dulcet northern tones, I come from the north. I come from a town called Huddersfield. Huddersfield is a textile town. It is right at the heart of the Industrial Revolution. The gentleman over there made reference to an important part of Huddersfield's heritage. There were a group of men back in the Industrial Revolution led by a chap called John Ludd. John Ludd, when the weaving looms were being replaced by machines and he saw that the weavers were going to be replaced, took a big hammer and went and smashed them up. His group of men were named after him and named the Luddites. And ironically, when we talk about someone who doesn't understand technology today, we refer to them as a Luddite. I think they understood technology perfectly well. I think what they couldn't see was where we are today. Several hundred years later, let's say, is that we would be standing in a room all wearing fabulous fabrics, talking about how fashion could be designed and how creative industries could reach a larger part of the world than just the single weavers in Huddersfield now. Paul, who is in here, talked about we're going to be in a difficult phase for the next few years, but it's our duty of care to try and take people on that journey with us. This morning I showed this picture of looking back to the past to draw inspiration for the future, and that it's a two-faced coin. On the one hand, you've got a beautiful face, on the other hand, you've got a difficult face. And just because we can doesn't necessarily mean that we should. And we've been working on a bit of a formula for what we think AI success might look like. And I wasn't sure whether I was going to show this today because it's a bit mathematical and I'm not sure it's quite right. But I think it kind of sums up a bunch of stuff we've talked about today, so I thought, what the hell. It's that AI success equals value plus foundation models and enterprise data, trust, and it should be for people. So I talked this morning about where some of the AI value is, and I think as you've been to sessions across the whole day, there's been value in almost every part of the organisation where you can apply this. Talked about how actually the most advanced part of IBM in terms of a department is our HR department. So it doesn't just have to be in the creative bits, it doesn't just have to be in the supply chain bits, it can be anywhere. So foundation models with enterprise data. I also talked this morning a little bit about the fact that all the models that are out there are built on public open data. There's less than 1% of enterprise data in those models. So where we believe there will be competitive advantage is bringing trusted foundation models with enterprise data to actually then be able to bring that into the enterprise. And we think that will really change the way that AI is used across organizations. And so next to trust, talk briefly about trust this morning. Governance is not an innovation killer, ambiguity is. Don't take these tools away from people, find a way that they can use them safely and go and experiment. There are loads of elements of AI risk that we have to be concerned with and consider, but there are ways of mitigating these risks, but we should just be sensitive to the fact that they are out there and we should face them head on rather than just pretending that they don't exist. And finally, to people. Paul and I disagree on this point, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. We believe that people who use AI will outperform those who don't. Paul has a much stronger view, which is absolutely great, that there will be some people that are replaced by AI. And I think that's a reality that we will face in the next few years together. I talked a little bit about this notion of people having assistants around them and how we will work in different ways going forward. And this was a fashion account manager. But I wanted to draw your attention to some research from HFS about the essential yet lacking skills for success in generative AI over the next three skills today's workers need but lack in the next 12 to 18 months. And interestingly enough, at the top is problem solving, followed very shortly after by adaptability, and developer skills and software and/or prompt engineering is at the bottom. Now that could be that people have already got those skills, or actually maybe the more human skills that we make us who we are going to be increasingly important. So where do you go and develop some skills? There's some free training on Coursera that we've put out there. You're more than welcome to go and get that. But the sort of final thought as I come back to this that I think this formula is wrong. And the formula is wrong because mathematically it's incorrect. People are the key factor in this. And so for the purest of the mathematicians in here, I've corrected it. So it's actually value, AI success is value plus foundation models with enterprise data plus trust to the power of people. And it is the people that have the power in this. And we can choose how we want to use it or not. And the way that I like to think about AI is a bit like, and I'm a father of two amazing children, a fabulous little boy and a firecracker of a daughter who are 13 and 10 respectively. And the same way as I have tried to instill in them the values that I believe in, and I've given them the data that I believe in and that I think is right for them to learn, our AI is the same. Our AI will be whatever we choose to create it with. Now, if we choose to give it all the bad data in the world, then it will be a naughty little AI. But if we school it and we make sure that it makes the right decisions and we remain in control, then there is a really strong place for human beings to be in this ever after. So that's the thought I'd like to give you. Thanks for listening to us, and I'll hand you back to Hannah.
Yeah.